Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ansel Armstrong back again, and today we're breaking down Team Affinity 2, looking at the best cards in all of Team Affinity 2 and the worst cards in all of Team Affinity 2. We've been out for about a week now. We've made a lot of progress on the Team Affinity program. We've been able to use all these players through various moments and events, and Battle Royale and ranked seasons and everything. We've been using a lot of the players. So here's my list. Here's my ranking of all 30 Team Affinity 2 cards. Keep in mind, of course, this is my personal list. Things like positions takes into account. Even a player's swing can matter. How they're going to play on Hall of Fame, that can make a big difference as well, personally, for me in ranked season. So keep that in mind as we look through all these cards. Let's start it out with number 30. So coming in at number 30, I'm sorry, Brewers fans, but it's Bryce Two-Ring. Yeah, he can play some defense and just got a little bit of speed. Got good contact ratings, but he's got no power, and in this game, that's not going to cut it, especially at shortstop with so many other options. Two-Ring, he comes in 30th. We're going to be going pretty quickly through these first couple ones that we're working with, and then we'll slow down and break it down a little bit more detail as we get further along. Coming in at number 29, ironically, was one of the best players in MLB The Show 19. It's Tony Gwynn. Again, you talk about no power. He's got a little bit more contact, but playing in the outfield, at least he's got a little bit of speed and fielding. Tony Gwynn, he's not doing a whole lot, though. 45, 48 power, just not going to play for me this year. On to the AL Central we go. We essentially have a better version of Tony Gwynn with a little bit more power and a little bit more speed. It's Johnny Damon. They're essentially the exact same card. Johnny Damon, though, slightly more power, so he comes in here at 28. Now, coming in at 27, we get our first pitcher. It's Josiah Gray. Maybe a little bit of a hot take. The per nines aren't terrible. The numbers aren't terrible, but I just don't love his pitch mix. I don't love his pitch mix control. I don't see him cracking my rotation with how many other top end starters we have so far in this game at this level. I don't think Josiah Gray cuts it for me. He may be a little underrated in this video, but we got him sliding in here at 27. At 26, we got another pitcher. It's Jackson Rutledge. A little bit better hits per nine than Gray. Worse control. Pretty similar pitch mix. Honestly, pretty similar pitchers. You could flip off them there. Neither of them, I think, have a spot in my rotation at this point in the game. Coming in at 25, we got Johnny Bench. He's pretty slow. He's got some rough reverse splits as well, especially for the catcher spot. He's a guy whose swing I've never gotten along with either. He can hit lefties pretty well, but we already have Mike Piazza, who's a catcher who can hit lefties pretty well. So for me, Johnny Bench would be nothing more than a bench player, and for that reason, he comes in at 25. Now, coming in at 24, I'm sorry, Mariners fans, but Edgar Martinez does not do it for me. He's got pretty severe reverse splits, no fielding, no speed. Already got other first basemen. There's other first basemen in TA that I think are better. I just don't see it happening with Edgar Martinez. And so he's coming in at 24 for me. Maybe a bit of an undersell on him, but that's where we got him. Coming in at 23, we got the Twins future star, Jordan Balazovic. Honestly, he's really very, very comparable to both Josiah Gray and Jackson Rutledge. Those are all kind of interchangeable. They have pretty similar pitches. Balazovic is a little bit more evened out across the board, and he's got the 94 control on the fastball. So he's not bad, but again, just like the other pitcher we talked about, I really don't see them making a meaningful impact in my rotation. Keeping it with the AL Central, coming in at 22, it's Isaac Paredes. He does have pretty good contact and at least not like absolutely terrible power, so that makes him at least somewhat playable with a little bit of fielding and some secondary positions, but like overall, not that great of a card. Doesn't have a ton of power still, but at least he's got some power and a decent contact rating that would help him out on Hall of Fame to at least make him halfway decent. And for that reason, he slots in at 22. Now coming in here at 21, he's got good hits per nines. He's got good Ks per nine, but not a lot of control and a really, really slow motion. Absolutely hated Shane McClanahan's motion when we used them. And so because of that, along with a decent pitch mix, but more importantly, not very good control at all, he comes in here at 21. Now coming in here at 20, this one may be a little bit higher than a lot of people had him. I almost put him up even a little bit higher than that, but it's Robert Poston for the A's. He comes in at 20, switch hitter. He's got okay contact. He doesn't have a whole lot of power, but what he does have is extremely good fielding, extremely good speed. The reason I have him at 20 is because honestly, I think he could find a spot on my squad on the bench as a pinch runner and in a late inning, 8th, 9th inning shortstop defensive replacement out there. If I'm rocking Tatis, maybe I have Chipper out there, I want a better defender out there at shortstop for those final innings. Austin can easily come in and do that. And I mean, if you parallel him up, he could probably hold his own with the bat. He's a switch hitter, so in an absolute pinch, he can come in and pinch hit as well. So I feel like he actually would provide some value to my team. So because of that, he slots in here at the 20th. Now coming in the top 20 at 19, maybe slightly disrespectful, but it's Lou Gehrig. Just the numbers versus lefties aren't there for me, and not enough power versus righties to justify it. I can't wait to get Lou Gehrig's 99 later in the year, because that card is probably going to be insane. But this postseason card that we got here in Team Affinity, it's not doing it for me. Because of that, he's got to slide in here at 19th. Keeping it in the AL East at 18th. Similar situation, not a whole lot of power going on here with Cal Ripken. He's got good contact, and he's got some good fielding, and he wouldn't be a bad bench bat. Honestly, kind of similar to Posson. He could be a decent bench bat and come in and field well at shortstop and pinch hit versus lefty. So he could be a bit of a platoon player there, which what keeps him up to the 18th spot. But the lack of ability to hit righties for me really does it off for this card. So because of that, he comes in here at 18th. Coming in here at 17th, we got the Cubs Team Affinity. It's Mark Pryor. The 109 Ks per 9 is pretty solid. That's really good. The 84 hits per 9 is a little bit lacking, but 103 stamina does really well as well. He's got decent control at 88, and his control on his pitches, 96 on the fastball, 91 on the slurve. Overall, a pretty solid pitcher. Good speed differentials and a slurve that has 99 break. I like Mark Pryor a lot when I've used him so far. So because of that, he's sliding in here at 17th. Now coming in here at 16th, a bit of a sneaky one. A pitcher I really liked last year. It's Roy Oswalt. He lacks a little bit, especially on the hits per 9. He definitely does lack, but really good control in walks per 9. Really good individual control on his pitches. He has a good pitch mix with the 4-seam sinker, 12-6 slider changeup, and that 12-6 comes in at 72 miles an hour. You compare that with the 94 mile an hour sinker, you have a very, very big pitch speed differential. That usually does really, really good for pitchers. So because of that, Roy Oswalt ranks a little bit higher on my list, coming in at 16 here. I like the control, especially with pinpoint and being able to dot it up. Now coming in here at 15th, our halfway mark. It's the Giants Team Affinity. It's Willie Mays. It's definitely card is not bad in any stretch of the matter. Just doesn't do anything great. It's a decent hitter. It's got decent fielding. It's got good speed, but it just doesn't do anything that really, really steps out the page and really just takes that to the next level. So because of that, Willie Mays stays in the middle of the road for me, coming in here at 15th. Keeping it in the NL West, it's Brandon Webb coming in at 14th. The per 9s on the his per 9 and K per 9 are worrisome for sure, but he has the meta pitches that I look for, especially that sinker cutter changeup combo with a really good speed differential and very, very good control. 99 control on the sinker. If you can dot that up and then mix in some of the lower speed pitches as well, Brandon Webb is a very, very effective pitcher. I'm definitely excited to get to use him some more. He's one that could both find his way moving up or find his way moving down if that hits per 9 and Ks per 9 doesn't hold up. Coming in at 13th here, it's Hank Aaron. Very similar to that Willie Mays card, in which it's pretty balanced across the board. Big difference being that Hank Aaron does get that pretty big contact versus lefties with the 125 to go with the 85 power as well. But overall, pretty balanced across the board. Nothing really stands out too much. He's certainly not a bad card in the slightest at all. I think Hank Aaron's pretty solid. Because of that, he is going to slide in here at 13th for us. Now coming in 12th, it's one of the higher overall cards in Team Affinity Stage 2. It's this Joe Torre card. He is lacking in power for sure. He's going to be someone who's going to need some parallel boost to really get him rocking and rolling well, but decent fielding at the catcher position. And I was a big fan of Joe Torre last year as well. Not to mention that also, of course, is a primary third baseman and has the first base secondary, along with, of course, the catcher secondary too. So I think he's a guy who can play a lot of positions, be pretty versatile. That contact rating is definitely going to help out on the Hall of Fame levels. And if you get his power boosted up just a little bit, he can probably be playing really well with solid defense too. Now, coming in at 11th, if only because he was just one of my favorite cards in the game last year, it's Jimmy Fox. You're probably not going to be playing him at catcher, but I don't know. Maybe parallel 5, Jimmy Fox at catcher could be worth a shot. His MVP card last year was catcher for me, so I was a big fan of Jimmy Fox, and he's going to crush lefty. So at worst, he's finding a spot on my bench, most likely. He could come in as an emergency catcher too if you just absolutely have to do something. I'm rocking Piazza right now because I like to have a catcher on the bench just in case something crazy happens. Maybe I can switch that out with Jimmy Fox. That's probably what I'll end up be doing, especially when you parallel him up. Jimmy Fox, I love his swing. He was great for me last year. He slots in here just outside the top 10 at 11. 10 more left to go. Maybe our sneakiest one of the bunch so far, but coming in at 10. Cracking the top 10, starting us out, it is Quinn Priester, 95 overall. You can see 94 hits per 9, 97 Ks per 9 is really well. The control of 83 and walks per 9 of 83, that's not quite what we want to see, but he has really good speed differentials as well. 97 on the four seam, 95 on the sinker, and then 81 and 80 on the curveball and changeup. 94 control on the four seam, 88 on the sinker is a little low, but relatively well overall. But it also has the 95 break on the sinker, 97 break on the curveball. He has 97 break on his card overall. So he has really good stuff. I like his pitch mix a lot, with a lot of speed differentials, a lot of good off-speed pitches you can throw, and really good hits per 9 is going to keep those PCIs for your opponent smaller. I like Quinn Priester a lot. I've really enjoyed using him so far, and he's slotting in here in 10th. Now, slotting in just above Quinn Priester here in 9th is Garrett Crochet. I know a lot of people may have Crochet way higher than 9th, but for me, I just don't know if he quite gets the job done. The walks per 9 and control is a little low for me, especially using pinpoint. Of course, he's nasty with the 99-mile-an-hour four seam, the slider, the changeup. He has all the break, but he's lacking just a little control. I would have loved if this card was a reliever card, because I think he may have been one of the best cards in this TA path. But being a starter in a rotation that already has a solid group of lefties, it may be tough for Crochet to find a whole lot of playing time, but he's no doubt one of the nastiest cards we've gotten in Team Affinity 2. I've even struggled against his bronze before. I've got against his diamond a couple of times so far, and it is certainly a nasty card. You can't go wrong with rocking him on your team. Coming in here at 8 is none other than Papa Bichette, Dante Bichette. I would have loved to put him higher, but the fielding for me makes him nothing more than a bench bat, but an insanely good one at that. 125, 105 left, 195 versus right. If you need an outfielder, you could throw him out there in the field. The 62 fielding, I personally can't do that because I like good fielders. I don't like making any mistakes there, but his hitting stats alone make him pretty nutty. He's got a great swing this year as well from what I've seen. I like Dante Bichette a lot. So he's coming in here at number 8 for me. Coming in here at number 7 is my boy, Sam Huff. A lot of varying opinions on his swing. Some say it's god-awful. Some say it's butter. A lot of varying opinions. My recommendation, give this card a shot. Try it out for yourself. I've been liking Sam Huff so far. Definitely biased as a Rangers fan, and it's going to be tough for him to replace Posada long term, but for now, I'm going to be giving him a solid shot. Obviously, that 105, 102 power is going to be insane, especially in this game. That's going to do incredible things for you, and he's got solid 80 fielding, 90 arm, 56 speed from the catcher spot isn't bad either. Sam Huff, definitely, in my opinion, one of the best cards we got in this Team Affinity 2. Coming in at number 6, right outside the top 5, it's Jim Thome. The hitting stats are insane. The contact versus left is obviously a bit of a struggle, but his face of the franchise card last year, I think, was one of the most underrated cards in the game. I love Jim Thome. His 119, 125 versus right is obviously going to play. And if you parallel him up to get a little bit more contact versus left, he's going to do really solid. 62 defense at first doesn't really matter a ton either. He should be rocking and rolling there. Jim Thome is probably replacing Big Papi for me, as crazy as it might seem, at first base. because this card is pretty insane. Coming in for me at number 5, it's Ronnie Mauricio. We already got him paralleled 1 so far. I love me some switch hitters. I haven't just overly loved his swing so far. I'm still coming around to it, but pretty balanced across the board. Obviously a little bit worse versus lefties than versus righties, but very balanced across the board. Decent speed, really good fielding at the shortstop position. 89 fielding, 96 arm as the base. Plus he's a switch hitter. Ronnie Mauricio is pretty nutty. I think for now, he may end up locking down shortstop for me. It's kind of between him, Tatis, and one other future star we may have coming up. Coming in here at number 4 is a card I don't see many people talk about, but it's Torii Hunter. Of course, I love fielding. I love defense in my outfield. So when I see 96 fielding to go with 73 speed with Torii Hunter, that to me screams an outfielder that's going to play. He's currently starting for me in left field right now. 93 contact right, 80 power right. That's definitely playable, especially once you parallel them up. And then 117 contact left and 94 power left makes him a menace versus lefties. And you get a ton of lefty starters versus you in this game. You got Glavine, you got Leiter, you got Crochet, you got Cliff Lee. A ton of lefty starters people are throwing. Valenzuela even. Some people may be rocking 5 lefties in the rotation. I like Torii Hunter to counter that right there. And because of that, my man slots in at number 4 for me. Maybe a bit of a hot take on that one. Coming in at number 3, it's Jordan Groshans. I'm not totally sold on the comp between him and Mauricio, which one's better, which one's worse. But I can say this, Groshans has been insane for me so far. But I'll say this, Groshans have been insane for me so far. I'm betting like over 500 with him through a little bit of BR and a little bit of ranked seasons. Groshans has been nutty for me. I've been a huge fan of him. So for that, he gets the nudge over Ronnie Mauricio. We'll see if that holds up long term. But for right now, Groshans, Mauricio, and Tatis, those 3 are competing for that starting shortstop position. That's a pretty fierce competition going on the team right now. So we have 2 cards left. You may be able to guess what they are by now. Coming in at number 2, though, it's Edward Cabrera, a card that I think a lot of people out the gate were kind of overlooking for this Team Affinity path. But 101 and 97 on the hits per 9 and Ks per 9. He's got the 84 control as well. The primary sinker pitch with 90 control on that pitch is really good, along with the slider, the curveball, the changeup. Pretty big pitch differentials as well in terms of speed. This Edward Cabrera also kind of has like a funky motion too. He's tough to pick up out of the hand. He plays above his stats because of that. The ball really jumps on you. I've loved Edward Cabrera a lot so far. It's going to be tough, but he's definitely going to have to find a way in my rotation with how he's been pitching to this point. And of course, coming in at number 1, who could it be other than Cliff Lee? He's insane. The hits per 9 is his only real downfall, but he has insane control. He's got the sinker cutter combo, the knuckle curve at 74 miles an hour, the circle change at 82. He's got the meta pitch. He's got 99 control on the sinker, 99 control on the circle change, 99 control on the knuckle curve, even an 89 on the cutter, along with all sorts of pitch break, 99 pitch break overall on his card. If Cliff Lee is nutty, I have no idea how he's going to leave my rotation by the end of the year, even though he's only in 97 and we're going to have tons of 99s coming. I can't see how Cliff Lee's going anywhere for me. Really smooth pitching motion as well. Makes him super easy to control and locate and dot up your pitches. Cliff Lee, far and away, my favorite pitcher I've seen so far in MLB The Show 21 from this Team Affinity 2 path. So there it is. Our TA2 rankings, top to bottom, bottom to top, however you want to look at it. I'm sure while you're watching this, you're thinking, this guy is an absolute idiot. How could he rank this card this and that card that? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let's chat about it. Let's talk about it. I love doing these type of videos so we can talk about what our favorite players are, who we're liking, who we're not liking. Maybe I'm overlooking somebody. Maybe I'm underlooking somebody. Let's chat about it down below. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, though, I'll catch y'all around.